Distinguished guests and dear participants, now we begin our afternoon session. Before we begin, we would like to inform you that we will be collecting questions for the discussion. My friends are distributing cards for you. You can write down your question, we will collect them afterwards.
Our first speaker in this session is Mr. Ümit Özaydın. Before we invite our first speaker, we would like to inform you about his background. Mr. Özaydın is the founding manager of Dragoman Translation in Turkey. He has been a conference interpreter, trainer, publisher and technology evangelist for over 20 years. Mr. Özaydın is also a seasoned traveler with so many stories from all continents of the planet, including the Arctic and Antarctic circles. Partner, tester, early adopter, user and reseller of over 20 applications and platforms, he joins us today to share his insights and offer an engaging session on MT business case for translation companies. How can LSPs choose the right tools, respond to evolving customer expectations, navigate amongst the crowded cloud ecosystem, and meet the talent gap of this new era? Our distinguished guest, Mr. Özaydın, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. How do I put this on the screen? Like this? Or somebody else is commanding. All right, yeah. That is my email. If you want to send any emails, you can use it. This is a summary of my talk. I will just slightly, just briefly talk about what is a public MT and what is, I call a corporate MT. And then there are efficiency claims, and I would like to introduce what do they mean for us in a translation company, or what will they mean for you if you work for a translation company like Dragoman. And I have 3 business cases, very short. If you are post-editing, how or if you make money out of it. And a chatbot situation, like is there anyone in the room involved in building a chatbot? You guys? See? Okay. It's very simple, you know. If you are using Amazon or Google, you can do it like in 48 hours to 72 hours. It's very simple. You can do it tomorrow. And I will end with some humanitarian purposes. Now, my personal background, yes, 20 years in the language industry. At the moment, I have 3 translation companies, 5 offices, 2 of them are physical, 3 of them are representations. And yes, until today, I have tested, used, or partnered with more than 50 tools. These tools, some of them are for remote interpreting. Some of them are for machine translation, some are for project management, some for terminology management. And these are our current websites. Dragoman.ist is our main portal. Nubuto.com is a white label version of XDM Cloud. We are partners with them. And actually, I'm happy to announce that Nubuto is free for all translation students. I mean, if you want to use it, it's free for you through the entire lifetime of your studies. And temizturkçe.com is for clean and clear Turkish. I mean, like Turkish with no discrimination, no prejudice. Turkish in peacemaking efforts, Turkish in negotiations. That is Temizturkçe. And this is one of my expeditions. I am a level 3, level 4 expeditionist. You know, I tend to go to some off the beaten path places, including Antarctica. Okay, a little disclaimer I already mentioned, but this is important. We are involved in, for some time, with Google's NMT improvement. I call it NMT. It's not called NMT improvement program, but so if you see anything nice in Google in the last 3-4 years into Turkish, it is partly us. Not all, but partly. And we are partners with this MT engine builder and also XDM Cloud. This is my disclaimer. So I have some subjectivity in my talk. Okay, public. I'm humbled to speak in front of such eminent professors. My talk is very simple and straightforward. So there won't be any inputs or layers that's beyond my intellectual capacity. But simply speaking, everybody uses Google Translate, right? Bing, Amazon, Facebook, and many others. And then, does anybody know Google Premium? What is that? Like, you pay Google, actually. Very small fee, like $20 for 1 million words or something. And you can use Google in your app, or in your cat tool, or in other purposes. And depends on the release. Sometimes there is a big beta release. It may give you better results. And then there is Google AutoML. This is very new. It is still in beta. And I tried, and then my technical knowledge did not suffice. There is a very helpful support forum. The idea is you upload your data, your TMs, your terminology, to Google. And Google builds your engine. Like, for example, what is your name? John. It can be John Translate. If you gather some data and upload to Google AutoML, oops, yeah. See, so excited. Now you have all the presentation. I think that concludes my speech. All right. And Bing has a business hub. For some time they have, and some translation companies are using it, including STP Nordic. They claim to use it for some time, I think, and they say it's very good. Amazon, I'm using Amazon Polly. Anybody knows Amazon Polly? Text-to-speech engine. Very helpful if you have a website, and if you want, blind people to access to your website. It's a very simple plugin. Use it, and anything on your website starts talking. Very successful, including Turkish. And up to certain millions of requests, it's free. Millions of requests, it's free. So this. And then there are commercial tools like Kantan, Globally, Sistran, Tayu, and they have their pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages, but then they are there and you pay for them. So why pay for them? Or why not pay for them? This is my estimate. Before coming here, I searched Google's claims, Bing's claims, Amazon, and I just made a little calculation. According to my latest estimate, Google already says they are translating like over 200 billion words a day. So if you add Bing and everything, 500 billion words are translated by automated translation portals every day. This equals to the total volume of the translation industry of the world. We humans, without any EAMT, that is what we do in a year. And these portals do it in one day. So people use it. So the idea is, oh no, we don't want empty. Billions of people are using it. So it is your chance to discover why people are using it, understand the gap, fill the gap, and make money from it. It's experience, it's there. It's every day. Sometimes the naked truth is simple. It is happening. It's not the future, it is now. Okay, let's exercise after lunch. What is a fitting? Do you want to ask Google Translate what a fitting is? Can anybody do that for me? Fitting. Or do anybody knows what fitting is? Any ideas in Turkish? Anything? Anything goes. There is no right or wrong answer. Fitting. What does Google say? Uydurma, okay? But in a desktop screen, Google has more and you see more. Google shows you more. Can you click more? montaj, uydurma, and tesisat, ayarlama. So there are many. And then see, according to the context, actually Google knows there are so many more meanings of fitting. But if you are just searching on the internet, it gives you one of them. The others are listed under more. So the idea in a commercial setting, if you are working for me, or if you have a translation company, I'm working for you, and then you have a customer, and for example, they are a boiler, a combi, manufacturer, or combi heater. So for them, fitting is some kind of piping in their piping system. It is not fitting of a dress so to do that, you need more than Google Translate. Correct? Let's take it to a lexical level. Professors illustrated it marvelously, but my examples are simple. Başlamak. What does başlamak mean in English? Start. Another word? Begin. Another word? Commence. What does Google Translate say when you say başlamak? Start. How about the others? End. Introduce. So imagine you're translating a press release, and it is the start of a new program. Do they say start, or you want to be more eloquent and you want to say the launch of the program? Can you do this with MT? Yes, you can. But it depends on how you layer it, how you train it, how you tag your data. It takes effort. How about these examples? Doğum tarihi. Is it straightforward? Doğum tarihi, date of birth. Adı, name. Soyadı, surname. How about this? There is a missing letter. Google probably guesses this is birth, place of birth. But the word is actually east. This means east. Did you try doğu yeri in Google? What does it say? Does it autocorrect doğu yeri? Does it give you a place of birth? Google Translate? Corrects it, right? Autocorrects. So that means somebody trained Google engine to autocorrect this word. Otherwise it wouldn't do it. But it could be douche. It could be something else. Autocorrection is not that simple. So, AI, artificial intelligence is much more than just putting one word against the other. There are so many other layers. Let's move on. Why people use corporate MT? Number one reason, people believe that exposing their data on the internet is a breach of confidentiality. You don't want to just upload your legal contracts to Google or Bing, although they assure you that they don't deal with the content, they don't share it with anybody, but still corporations are sensitive and they want an engine in their office, in their own computers. And then if you have a corporate MT, just like the example fitting, you can exactly select which words you want to use with your engine. Same for başlamak. Lexical corrections are subjective, but there are so many cases that, for example, medicine. It is usually one word. Diabetes mellitus. Or type 2 diabetes. Okay? But I don't think there's an option for that word. It's technical, it's medical. There is one terminology answer, and you just put it to your engine. So it's your words, your phrases. However, it's not free. It may cost you from $5,000 to $100,000 US. Developers claim less, but down the line we've tested many. And I have Bekir here, he was involved. Also Çağdaş Hoca was involved. It costs more, don't you think? And also it costs a dedicated person. You assign somebody. If you are lucky like me, and if you are working with Bekir or Çağdaş, they are like Swiss knives. You can assign them 5 tasks a day and they do everything. But if you are hiring regular people, then you need another person to fill in the other tasks. Am I going too fast? Does this make sense? Okay. These are clips from Amazon website. Also in Turkish. These are public. On website, Amazon's website. Argos Translation, a very reputable translation agency, by the way, say that now their translators are translating up to 8,000 words a day. Because normally we believe translators can do 2,000 to 3,000 words a day. So Argos says it's 2-3 times more. So efficiency gain is what they claim. Linebridge, a gigantic translation agency. I think now their annual turnover is about like $250 million, maybe. They say 20% cost improvement. Okay, Linebridge is making $250 million a year in revenue. Say their cost is half of it. Let's say $100 million a year is the translation cost. So if Linebridge is saving 20%, that means they are saving $20 million. And that means they can invest $100,000, if not $1 million, to develop their engines, right? It makes sense because they're making immense amounts of money. And 1 hour translation has been on the internet for quite some time. They say with Amazon they are translating 67 times faster. I don't know why or how they could come up with the 67, but I mean it adds some credibility, 67. I would write 67.65. Sounds scientific. Okay.